Hello, everybody. My name is Lucas. In November 2020, my brother Mateo contracted COVID-19 like so many of us did. But unlike most of us, he hasn't yet recovered. Mateo is now what is known as a COVID long hauler, a title given to those whose COVID symptoms last more than 3 months. So, yeah. In all this time, he's been documenting his ups, downs, victories, and setbacks through journals, medical records, and love letters to you, the listener. And if he's come to one conclusion, it is that COVID is stupid. New Year's resolutions. A divisive topic, but judging from the COVID is stupid YouTube comments, that's rather fitting. For some of the long haulers listening, this may be the year that you made real progress in your recovery and hold your health in a new light. For many others, the struggle continues, and the sight of a new calendar on the wall, soon to be filled with appointment reminders and medication schedules, isn't so easy. But maybe between those two poles are some of the finer points of your journey. A milestone in your strength or clarity in your thoughts. Or maybe you reclaimed something that COVID tried to take away from you, and you did it with style. For more on exactly that, here's the man who taught me style, my big brother Mateo, with The End of Days. Oh, sorry, End of Year.
Hello, long hauler. You are positively glowing today. In fact, if you don't mind my saying so, you have the look of somebody with the energy to take way more than 2 showers a week. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Keep it up. We are collectively approaching another new year. But I have no interest in subjecting you to a top 5 countdown list of my top 5 favorite countdown lists. Instead, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge you. You have made it all the way around the sun. Yet again. Well done, friend. You have endured the slings and arrows of outrageous COVID while also managing to carve out your own path forward, your own path to tomorrow, your own path to beyond. You did not give up, even on the days when you really, really, really wanted to. The days when giving up and giving in would have been so much easier. Days when nobody in the world could have faulted you for saying fuck it. You are still here and still in this fight. And I am damn proud of you. Plus, you have that whole multiple showers a week vibe I mentioned earlier. Seriously, it looks good on you. I don't know how many of you are New Year's resolution makers, especially considering it often takes most of our energy to fulfill today resolutions. For the past few years, I have been enjoying occasional cups of tea with an absolutely lovely woman with whom I used to work. She's retired and I'm a medical shit show, so except for doctor visits, our schedules are usually pretty open. And when we do get together, I like to jokingly remind her that my standing New Year's resolution is to beat her in a foot race. In 2025, she had spinal surgery as well as an 80th birthday. So I kind of feel like my chances are better than ever. I've never been much of a resolution maker. Purchasing a new calendar for the kitchen always seemed like a very arbitrary pin upon which to hang my resolute resolve. And yet, coming into this year that we're currently leaving, I actually did have something in mind. A quiet line in the sand that I decided I was going to cross. But first, some background. I've been playing role-playing games since the early 90s. Dungeons and Dragons, Marvel, Star Wars, Champions, and pretty much every other nerdy system we could get our nerdy hands on. In the decades from then till now, many members of my nerdy friend group have created our own nerdy games, worked for nerdy gaming companies, or freelanced as a side hustle and made a few nerdy dollars off our nerdy sensibilities. After I got sick, I suddenly had a dickens of a time doing things like thinking, talking, remembering, staying awake, comprehending, or remembering. But even so, my nerdy friends always went out of their way to make sure I had a spot at the nerdy table. They would schedule games in the afternoons instead of evenings. They'd pick me up. They'd carry my backpack inside for me. They'd deliver Mateo-safe snacks directly to my chair, pause the action to explain things when I got confused, and on a couple occasions even worked in breaks for me to retreat to a dark, quiet room and nap. Then, when either the game or my nervous system was done for the day, they'd carry my backpack back out to the car and deliver me safely home to wifey. I'm I'm crying here thinking about this. They were all incredibly accommodating and patient and beautiful and amazing, and I love them so much. Hold, please. Making me feel feels. If any of you are listening, you're a jerk for making me cry. Let's take a quick breath break. All right. Yeah, that was good. They're probably amazing in far more ways than I'm able to communicate, because I recently read over some notes from that 21-22 time frame and have very little memory of the games that were played. It is therefore with great excitement and enthusiasm that I tell you about a recent development. I created and ran my own role-playing session. That was my resolution. This was precisely what I'd promised myself I would do before the end of the year. I decided a haunted house scenario would be an easy way for me to slide back into this role. There's a set number of rooms, it's a fixed location, and that all made it much easier for me to plan ahead. Kiddo and I would brainstorm spooky things that could happen in a haunted house, and then I would scratch notes to myself at times when I should have been napping. For anybody who might not be familiar, because your parents made you play outside when you were kids, role-playing games are effectively a form of cooperative storytelling. Somebody at the table is running the game, often called a dungeon master or a DM, And they are describing the setting, the situation, and the circumstances. The dungeon master will act out the roles of all the people, places, and things that occupy the world, except for the characters that the players at the table have created. In a role playing game, the player says what they want their character to do, and then they roll various numbers and shapes of dice to determine how successful or otherwise their attempt was. Think of it as improvisational acting with dice and snacks. Mainly snacks. I had committed my mind to do the task, but I knew that I wouldn't have the same quick wit or improv abilities I used to, so I had to figure out what crutches, canes, and accommodations I would need. I wrote out scripts ahead of time, and I read directly from the page during the game. I organized a 3-ring binder to within an inch of its life. I printed out pictures, I made sticky note cheat sheets, and brought snacks downstairs ahead of time. Because always snacks. I also turned my basement into a semi-interactive space, hiding monsters or treasures behind doors, under blankets, or in big blue plastic tote boxes, all to be revealed when the time was right. So anything I lacked in on-the-spot mental processing time, I tried very hard to make up for with props and theatrics. Fortunately, props and theatrics remain on my skill list, even post-COVID. On a related note, fuck you, COVID. You failed your saving throw and you get eaten by a dragon. Serves you right. Jerk. Mid-October was game day, perfect for my haunted house. Doors were opened, blankets were thrown back with dramatic flair, monsters were defeated, snacks were consumed, much fun was had. And the cherry on top of this nerdy slice of pie? A few hours in, when we hit a good stopping point, I told them I could go longer if they had the time. They did. So I did. I ended up being awake, spending mental spoons, and talking out loud from 9 a.m. to almost 4 p.m. Holy yabba dabba doo! Conscious, upright, and thinking for nigh unto 7 hours? In a row? Yes, it knocked me out for a day or two, but it was still a heroic feat of heroicism that would have been unfathomable at any prior point along this long COVID adventure back to health. It would seem that I leveled up. And that's not just the snacks talking. There's really no shortage of inspiration that one can take from the Toy Story movies. These days, however, instead of Buzz Lightyear or Woody or Jessie and Bullseye or even Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, I find my inspiration across the street. Remember that neighbor boy, Sid? How he would take toys apart and then put them back together in nightmarish configurations? These days, it's the story of those toys that inspires my own story as a long hauler. One of them was a fishing pole with Barbie legs, for fuck's sake. If those toys can find a way to move forward, then goddammit, so can I. And you know what? So can you. I really believe that. Almost as much as I really believe in you. There will be days in the year ahead that will suck so hard. But even if you have to reach out and grab 2026 by the fucking eyelids to stand up, then you do it. Every day you do it. You do it until you don't have to anymore. And then you cheer on the rest of us while we stand. And on and on and on and on. Until the day when we can all beat my absolutely lovely 80-year-old friend in a foot race. Just, give us a heads up when you're coming over. We need to make sure there are enough snacks to go around. I love you all. I see you all. I would hug you all if I could. Strength and health in the new year. COVID is stupid.
Oh, damn. I've listened to almost as many episodes as you have, and I gotta say, this one was my favorite. Yes, I know some of those nerds, and yes, I've played some of those games right along with them, and yes, I have seen Mateo get his money's worth from those poor 3-ring binders. But underneath all of those things, I love that resolution, that dedication, and that execution. What can I say? I'm a sucker for a good adventure. Well done, Mateo. I love you. If you've got a victory that you want to share, or a victory you feel inspired to achieve, let's hear about it. Email us at covidisstupid2020@gmail.com. And that's stupid with 2 O's, not a U. Or if you're feeling brave, share it with everyone on our Instagram or Facebook, or leave it in the comments of this episode on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you happen to find us online. Or just keep it to yourself as that quiet voice telling you that there are still so many victories to be had. Because you can do it. We believe in you. Until then, Happy New Year from COVID is Stupid.